All right, welcome back, everyone. Sean here, and with me today, as always, is the wonderful Diane. We're tackling a big one today, something that's literally shaping the future of our city, the Charlotte 2040 plan.
Hey, Sean, so glad to be here. And you're right, this isn't just another dry city planning document. This is hands down one of the most significant pieces of policy work Charlotte has undertaken in a long, long time. It really is setting the stage for the next couple of decades.
Exactly. I mean, we're talking about a blueprint for everything from how our neighborhoods look to how we get around to even what kind of jobs are coming here. When you hear 2040 plan, it can sound a bit abstract, but it's deeply, deeply personal to every Charlottean.
Absolutely. It's essentially the city's comprehensive plan, designed to guide growth and development for the next 20 years. And what really stands out to me, having read through quite a bit of it, is this overarching emphasis on equity. That's a huge shift from previous planning efforts, wouldn't you say?
Oh, completely. Equity is the absolute bedrock of this plan, and frankly, it needed to be. Charlotte has grown so much, so fast, but not everyone has benefited equally. We've seen significant disparities in access to housing, jobs, even green space. The 2040 plan really tries to put that front and center, saying how do we grow in a way that lifts everyone up?
Right. It's not just about growth for growth's sake, but smart, inclusive growth. And part of that involves addressing some historical inequities in our city's development, like how certain neighborhoods were overlooked or actively disadvantaged in the past. It's a really proactive stance.
And the plan introduces some key pillars to achieve that, right? Like equitable communities, connected city, sustainable environment, dynamic economy, and healthy communities. It's a pretty holistic approach.
It is. Let's dig into a couple of those, because they really inform everything else. Take equitable communities. This isn't just about saying we want equity. It actually talks about tangible things, like ensuring a diverse range of housing options so that people at all income levels can afford to live here. It also emphasizes equitable access to jobs, quality education, and essential services, no matter where you live in Charlotte.
Which is huge when you think about the housing crisis we're currently facing. Affordable housing is such a massive challenge. So for the 2040 plan to actually tackle that with specific strategies, like encouraging different housing types, duplexes, triplexes, townhomes, in more areas, that's a game changer.
It is. And that ties into the connected city pillar too. Because what good is affordable housing if you can't easily get to your job or to groceries or to health care? This pillar really pushes for a multimodal transportation network. We're talking more walkability, more bike lanes, and significantly expanding public transit options, less reliance on individual cars, which, let's be honest, is a dream for many of us stuck in traffic.
Oh, absolutely. The idea of being able to walk or bike to a coffee shop or catch a bus or light rail without a huge hassle, that transforms the quality of life. It makes the city feel smaller and more accessible. I think a lot of people probably resonate with that desire to ditch the car more often.
Totally. And it's not just about convenience, it's about sustainability. Which brings us to another critical pillar, sustainable environment. This focuses on things like green infrastructure, protecting natural resources, and preparing for climate change. Think more tree canopy, preserving our waterways, and designing development that's less impactful on the environment.
That's an interesting point because Charlotte is known for its tree cover, but we've seen a lot of that diminish with rapid development. So to have a plan that explicitly prioritizes things like urban forestry and green space preservation, that's really forward thinking. It's about ensuring future generations get to enjoy a green city, not just a concrete jungle.
Right, and connecting those green spaces too. Imagine a network of greenways that isn't just for recreation, but also serves as ecological corridors and helps manage stormwater. It makes the city more resilient. And then there's the dynamic economy pillar, which is all about fostering diverse job opportunities and supporting local businesses, not just attracting big corporations.
That's crucial. A thriving local economy is vital for stability and a unique sense of place. We don't want to become just another generic big city. Supporting small businesses, fostering innovation, and creating pathways to good paying jobs for everyone, that's how you build a truly robust economy.
And it also touches on the healthy communities aspect, Sean, because a dynamic economy often means better access to health care, to healthy food options, and to safe public spaces where people can gather and connect. It's all incredibly interconnected.
It really is. You know, one of the more talked about aspects of the 2040 plan, and something that I think confused a lot of people initially, is the concept of place types. Can you break that down for us a bit, Diane? Because it sounds complex, but it's actually pretty fundamental to how our city will grow.
Oh, absolutely. Place types are essentially a new way of categorizing and thinking about different areas of the city, moving away from the very rigid, old-school zoning regulations. Instead of just saying this is commercial or this is residential, place types describe the character of a place and what kind of development is appropriate there to achieve the plan's goals.
So it's more about how a neighborhood feels and functions, rather than just what you can build there by right.
Exactly. For instance, you have Neighborhood 1 place type, which is primarily existing single-family areas. The plan aims to preserve their character while still allowing for some gentle density, like duplexes or accessory dwelling units, ADUs, where appropriate and desired by the community. Then you have community activity centers, which are envisioned as hubs for mixed-use development. Think shops, offices, housing, all connected by transit, making them walkable and vibrant.
That makes a lot of sense. So instead of a developer just coming in and saying, okay, this is zoned R3, I'm putting up apartments, the place type would guide them to consider the existing fabric of the neighborhood and what kind of development truly fits and enhances it.
Precisely. It's a more nuanced approach. It encourages development that aligns with the desired vision for that area, fostering complete, connected communities. It's also meant to be more flexible and responsive. The idea is that these place types provide a framework, but the specifics can be refined over time with community input.
That's a good point about community input, because the 2040 plan didn't just appear out of nowhere. There was a huge public engagement process, wasn't there?
Oh, absolutely. Thousands of residents participated through workshops, surveys, community meetings, both in person and online. The city really made an effort to gather feedback from diverse communities across Charlotte. This wasn't a top-down mandate. It was designed to be informed by the people who live here.
Which is critical, especially when you're talking about something so impactful. Because if people don't feel like their voices were heard, or if they don't understand why these changes are happening, then getting buy-in for implementation becomes incredibly difficult. It can feel like it's being done to them, not for them.
Right, and that public engagement really helped shape the equity focus. It became clear through those conversations that residents wanted to see a more inclusive Charlotte, where opportunities weren't concentrated in just a few areas. They wanted better transit, more affordable options, and preserved green spaces.
So how do you think this plan, if implemented successfully, will actually impact the average Charlottean's daily life? Let's get really practical here.
Okay, practically speaking, I think a big one is choice. Right now, if you want a certain type of housing, or if you don't want to drive everywhere, your choices are often limited. The 2040 plan aims to expand those choices significantly. You might see more varied housing types popping up in areas where only single-family homes existed before, giving people more options, potentially closer to where they work or want to be.
So instead of a long commute from the suburbs, you might find a duplex or townhome a few miles from your job in a more walkable area. That sounds pretty good to me.
Exactly. And you might see transit expand in ways that genuinely connect more parts of the city. Imagine being able to rely less on your car for everyday errands because there's a bus stop that actually goes where you need to go, or a bike lane that's truly safe and separated from traffic. It's about building a more resilient, less car-dependent city.
That's a dream for a lot of people, I think. And it also, to my mind, fosters a stronger sense of community. When people are out walking, biking, using public spaces, you get more serendipitous interactions, more connection with your neighbors. That's something that often gets lost in car-centric suburbs.
Oh, for sure. Think about more vibrant main streets, too. The Community Activity Center's concept means more local businesses, cafes, and services within walking or biking distance. That fosters a real sense of place and local identity, which I think Charlotte could use more of in some areas.
So, what are some of the potential challenges in implementing this plan? Because it's a huge undertaking, there's always going to be pushback or unforeseen hurdles, right?
Oh, absolutely. The biggest challenge, frankly, is going to be translating the vision into actual concrete changes on the ground. The plan is a policy document, but it needs an implementing ordinance, the Unified Development Ordinance, or UDO, to make it law. And that's where the rubber meets the road and where specific land use decisions are made.
And that UDO has seen a lot of debate itself, hasn't it?
Massive debate, because that's where people start to see the direct impacts on their neighborhoods. Questions about density, about how much change is acceptable, about parking requirements. These are all things that get hashed out in the UDO. So navigating that public conversation, addressing concerns, and finding a balance while still staying true to the plan's core vision, that's going to be a continuous challenge.
And you have to factor in the sheer pace of growth in Charlotte. We're consistently one of the fastest growing cities in the country. Trying to implement a long-term plan while also managing explosive, real-time development, that's like building a house while people are already moving in.
It really is. And then there's the economic factor. The plan envisions significant investments in transit, infrastructure, and affordable housing. Securing the funding for all of that, especially for transit expansion, is a huge undertaking that requires cooperation at local, state, and even federal levels. It's not just a Charlotte problem, it's a regional one.
It's a really complex puzzle for sure. But on the flip side, what are some of the greatest opportunities you see coming out of this plan if we get it right?
The greatest opportunity, in my opinion, is creating a truly equitable and resilient city. If we get the housing right, if we build out that multimodal transportation, if we prioritize green infrastructure, Charlotte could be a model for sustainable, inclusive growth. We could finally start to bridge some of those historical divides and ensure that everyone has access to the incredible opportunities our city offers.
I agree. Imagine Charlotte 20 years from now, a city where you don't have to own a car to thrive, where diverse communities are connected, and where green spaces are abundant. That's a pretty inspiring vision, and it's what the 2040 plan is trying to achieve. It's ambitious, but it feels necessary.
It really does. And it's a testament to the idea that cities can proactively shape their future rather than just letting growth happen haphazardly. It takes intentionality and, frankly, a lot of hard work and ongoing public dialogue.
So for our listeners who want to learn more, or maybe even get involved, what's the best way for them to stay informed about the 2040 plan and its ongoing implementation?
The best place to start is the city's official website for the plan. Just search for Charlotte 2040 Plan, and you'll find all the documents, maps, and updates. They also have information on upcoming public meetings regarding the Unified Development Ordinance. Staying engaged is key, because this is an evolving process.
Absolutely. It's not a static document. It's a living guide, and our input as residents continues to be vital. Diane, this has been such an insightful conversation. Thank you for breaking down such a complex but incredibly important topic for us.
My pleasure, Sean. It's an important conversation to have, and I think everyone in Charlotte should at least have a basic understanding of what this plan means for our shared future.
Agreed. And to all our listeners, thank you for tuning in. We hope this gave you a clearer picture of the Charlotte 2040 plan and why it matters so much. Keep those conversations going in your own communities, and we'll catch you next time.